Carolina. I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. I love you, granddaughter. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today, of course, you all know from the thumbnail, I am talking about navigating grief and loss. This video today is dedicated to my granddad, Jesse. I'm gonna get emotional because he was such a big part of my life, but I wanted to come on here to talk about how difficult it can be to navigate grief and loss, but also how to find your way through it. Find your way through the grief, the sadness, the hurt and the pain that you're experiencing during that time, and how to just allow yourself to feel the things that you feel, but also look at things in a positive light as well. This video is going to be very hard for me to talk about without getting emotional, but I feel like I want to be as transparent as possible so you all know that this is coming straight from my heart. I believe that God has been putting this on my heart for a while. I was talking to one of my best friends months ago, and I was telling her that I wanted to do this vlog for a long time. I told my boyfriend, and it's just necessary. I wasn't ready during that time when I talked to them about it, but I knew that it was necessary because everybody is going through something. Everybody has experienced grief or loss, and sometimes we don't know how to navigate through those things, and it can be very hard. So I wanted to come on here and talk about it with you all. And if you want to comment down below, like if you're experiencing any grief or loss, and or anything, or you want to vent to somebody, or whatever the case may be, I want to be able to pour into people as much as possible. I know that I probably won't be able to pour into everyone, but I pray that this video touches the people that it needs to touch. And if you're going through something, comment it down below if you feel like you can, if you feel led to put it out there, and I will be in prayer with you through whatever you're going through, because the world is very heavy right now, and I think that there is so much negative that it'll weigh on you, but we have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing. God put us on this earth for a reason, and we have to keep pushing. So let's get into this video. All right, so as I said, this video is dedicated to my granddad, Jesse. He was a huge part in my life, and losing him ripped a part of my heart out completely. My granddad suffered from dementia, and it happened very quickly. I guess you could say, as things, progressed as far as his dementia, his health declined very, very quickly. And it was a lot on my family. It was a lot to see. It was a lot to experience. And it was a shock. It was a shock. My family has experienced a lot of loss in the past couple of years, like from 2023 to last year, 2024. And my mom lost her parents a month and a day apart, I think, which is crazy still to even process, to even fathom. My Aunt Nan passed away last year, early last year, and then my granddad's health it started declining. Like, it started declining basically in 2023. And then, of course, my parents and my grandma were trying to find resources for my granddad so that they could figure out what was going on with him. They found out that it was dementia, and it's like as soon as they found that out, he got worse and worse very, very quickly. Losing my granddad was very hard for me because I spent so much time with him growing up. We call it the Ponderosa. If you're in the family or if you're a friend and ever been to any of our July 4th cookouts or any family gathering that was at my grandparents' house, you know that we call it the Ponderosa. And it's because my grandparents have a lot of land, and it just gives you that peace when you go to their home. It just gives you that peace. And it feels like family. It feels like a safe place that you can go to. And it's always been that way. Sorry. It's always been that way. Gosh. I remember when me and my brothers used to call my grandparents, and my grandma is still alive, thank God. Love her down. She's one of the strongest people that I know. But we used to go to my grandparents' house. We would call them. We would call my grandparents every Thursday night. And we would call them and say, we want to come to y'all's house this weekend. And most of the time my parents would be like, okay. So we would go meet my grandparents. My parents would meet my grandparents with us at, a restaurant. I remember we used to meet at Hardee's and a burger place and just different things. And we would spend the weekend with them. And there were 2 places that we always went. Actually 3. Walmart, we went to Frankie's Fun Park, and Dollar Tree. And that's probably why I love Dollar Tree so much. But we would always go to those 3 places growing up. And we ate what we wanted. We watched what we wanted to watch. We had so much fun with my grandparents. We would jam out in the car. My granddad, of course, he liked to garden and everything. And so we actually had, I say we because, it's my grandparents, but we have a a couple of vines that have muscadines on it. And I don't know what, if you know, if you're country, we call them scuffadines. So my granddad would always bring me out there with him, and he'll be like, be careful, Bree. If it's any snakes, don't worry, I'll get them for you. And we would pick scuffadines, and he would let me drive his tractor. And that's really how I learned to really drive. He would let me drive his tractor all around the yard, and I would just do that for hours and hours. My brother AJ would try to get on the tractor with me, and then me and him would go around for hours and hours. We would be playing basketball, of course, or some type of basketball thing. I remember there were times where my granddad would have to take the trash to the big dump that was a few miles out. And I remember my granddad, that was the first time I learned the first time he took me with him, that was the first time that I learned how to drive. He let me drive his old pickup truck, and he was sitting right beside me, and my brothers were on the side of him, and he taught me how to drive. And I was young. I'm not gonna tell you how young I was, but it was just so many great moments that we shared. If you knew my granddad, you knew that he loved hard. He was the funniest person that I've ever met. He always told me how proud of me he was, and he would just, on the phone, in person, he would always say, "Bree, you sure know how to make a granddad proud." And there were moments where I felt like I wasn't doing anything to make him proud. But he always let me know that he was proud of me and that he loved me. And he always made me feel like the only girl in the world. Like, he just always made me feel that way. He always poured into me, and he did that with everybody. Like, he loved everybody. He poured into everybody. He was just so funny. Everybody loved him. He was very active in the church. He was a deacon. He was on the men's choir at church. He loved playing golf with, his co-workers from work, his boss from work, and, some of his friends and his brother. He loved food. We used to go to some little restaurants around town, and we loved Fatback. And him and my youngest brother Will used to tear the Fatback up. Oh my gosh, it was so many times where my grandma would be so upset. She would be like, "Don't give them kids any more Fatback," and my granddad would give us Fatback. Like, it was just so many great moments. And not having him here has been very, very hard, because he just brought so much life into the world. Like, he just gave so much light, and he had impact, and he had so much impact on our lives. Like, we took family vacations together. When my parents and my brothers and I would go on vacation, my grandparents went with us. Like, my grandma still comes with us, of course, but my grandparents always went with us. Like, we would do Thanksgiving in Myrtle Beach, and like, we would take trips and go to different places, and they would come with us, and we just spent so much time together. And when you spend so much time with someone and you value them and you value that time, it hits you differently. It hits you in a way that you can't really put into words. My granddad was the life of the party. There was never a moment where he wasn't laughing. There was never a moment when he wasn't dancing and just making people feel welcome, making people feel valued. I just miss so much about him. And it has been hard. One of my friends asked me, I think like last week, one of my really good friends, she asked me, did I show up for you in the way that I needed to? And if not, like, what could I have done better? Because one of her friends is going through a major loss as well. And it's very important to have people around you that care about you and that know what you need. I know you can, you tell people how to show up for you, but it's a blessing to have people that just get it. And that just know, like, how to show up. My friends showed up. They showed up. My real friend showed up, and throughout my mom's parents passing, my aunt Nan, then my granddad. Like, I had people that showed up for me. And of course, my family, my parents, my brothers, my grandma, like we're very close, and we got through things as a family. And I'm just so grateful for that, because I know people don't have that. But it was still hard, right? It's still hard to go through grief, especially when everybody's in different states, everybody's in different cities. So it's like when we all got together, we would just reminisce on the great times and eat and, you know, just spend that quality time together. And we cherish that. Like, we still do it, but we cherish those moments together, pray together. We build each other up, because our family is, we always say family is all we got. Family is all we got. But I did have a few friends that, and a few, I call them sisters, that showed up for me in a major way. My mom always says something that is so key, and she says, you know, after everything is done, after the funeral and all the things, pay attention to those that show up for you, whether that's them calling you every day or checking in on you, asking you, you know, have you ate today? Let's go take a walk. You know, let's go do something, or come over to my house. Let's watch a movie, or let me come over to your house and let's watch a movie together. Let's, you know, spend some time together, or shipping you a package, a care package, or whatever the case may be, like, or showing up to the funeral. Those are the things that you should pay attention to, because those are your people. That's your tribe. Those are the people who care about you the most, the people that show you that they are there for you, that are praying for you and checking in on you and making sure you're good. Like, those are your people. And you find that out, unfortunately, you find that out in major events, like when you're celebrating something or when you lose a loved one. People will show you how much they care about you during that time. And sometimes you will be hurt by the people who you thought were, you know, you thought that would show up, and they don't. So then you have to also deal with that type of grief, and that hurts as well, because it's like, wow, like you didn't show up for me the way I showed up for you. Grief is very hard to navigate. It's extremely hard to navigate, and losing so many people back to back was the hardest thing I know personally I've experienced. My family, it was very hard for them too, and it's still hard, because some days you just cry. Some days you don't want to get out the bed. Some days you can hear their voice and you can hear them saying something, or you have a memory and you're like, I can't believe this person is gone. I can't believe they're not here anymore. You know, I wanted my granddad to experience me walking down the aisle when I get married. I wanted him to experience seeing my first child born. I wanted him to just see so many things, and I know that's selfish of me, but I wanted him to be there, and I thought he would. I thought he would. And when that reality sets in that person is no longer there, it hurts. It hurts, because you feel like you have forever with them, and you don't. I'm not perfect at at grief. I don't think anyone is. And grief is hard because it's not linear. It is all over the place. There can be moments where you're happy and you're laughing at the moments that you spent with your loved one, or it could be moments where you're just literally bawling your eyes out, falling down in the shower or falling down to your knees and just breaking down crying because it hurts so much. The pain is just so much. I just remember I kept so many voicemails for my granddad, and I'm so glad I kept them because I hear his voice, and I smile when I listen to his voicemails. I have so many videos and pictures that I always look at, and it's still, I mean, it's rough. It's rough. And, you know, some people grieve in a way that's like, well, you know, God took them home. You know, they're not suffering anymore. And that's a positive way to look at it, because I didn't want my granddad to suffer. I didn't want my grandparents or anybody in my life, my mom's parents or anybody in my life that I love, I would never want them to suffer. And sometimes it's hard facing the reality that, you know, this person is suffering and God has to take them. Like, God has to take them and take the pain away and take them out of that pain, because he's calling them home. There was a time where I couldn't go back to my grandparents' house because every time I would pull up in the driveway, I would think about how my granddad used to be either standing at the door, or he would be outside at the gate, and he would do a funny dance, or, you know, welcome me and my family or whatever. He would welcome us in, and it's hard. Grief is hard. And, you know, it's so hard to describe the feeling when you really, 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 truly love somebody and you spent time with them and you cared about them so much. Like, it's very hard. I remember there were times when, you know, we would go on vacation. I remember this one particular time we went to Myrtle Beach, and it was during Christmas. Yes, we went to Myrtle Beach for Christmas quite a few times in my childhood, because we like to get away. My family liked to get away, and we would just spend quality time in Myrtle Beach. We would go shopping. We would have our, you know, my dad would do the I don't want to say sermon, but he would, you know, talk to us about Jesus and God, Christ's birth, and, you know, different things. And then we would go into, you know, opening gifts and just being reminded of the season. And yeah, then we would go into opening gifts, and we would, you know, spend the day eating good. We would go to some, like, you know, crab shack restaurants and different things. And it was just, you know, and then we would go shopping the next day. And I remember this one particular time where my granddad took us in some store that had, like, different, like, you know, funny gadgets and, you know, different things. And he bought us some fart spray, and we sprayed the fart spray in a restaurant, and everybody was running out the restaurant, y'all. Like, I remember it vividly. Like, everybody was running out the restaurant, and we were just dying laughing because I just kept spraying it. I was the one that was spraying it. But my granddad bought it and he's just dying laughing. Me and my brothers are dying laughing. My grandma's like, all right, y'all can go to jail, you know, like, and it was just awful, but it was so fun. Like, my granddad was a big kid. He was a big kid and he loved having fun. There was never a dull moment. There was like never a serious moment with him. Like, it always was a good time. And I think that's what I miss the most, because he knew how to turn something sad or something serious. He knew how to turn it into something beautiful in regards to like laughter. He was so big on family, so big on family, and he just let us all know that he loved us. He let us all know that he was proud of us, and that that we were very special to him. I try to remember all the great things that my granddad brought into my life, and I'm so grateful that I do have, you know, different memories of him, and I was able to spend so much time with him, and that's what brings me a lot of joy. It was very hard, especially processing, you know, it wasn't just hard for me, but my dad lost his dad. You know, my mom lost her father in love. My mom had also lost her mom and dad, like, the year before, you know. It's very hard. Grief is hard. And a couple of things that I have learned through grief is, one, to allow yourself to feel what you feel, but don't stay there. And that's something that my mom always tells me. Allow yourself to feel how you feel, but don't stay there. Two, watch the people who show up for you. And that could be in a check-in, you know, sending you a care package or a card, or giving you a call, or spending time with you, showing up to the funeral, or showing up after the funeral to check in on you. Excuse me. Three, which really should be number one, is pray. Pray hard, pray long, because God is where your strength is going to come from. You're not going to be able to do it alone. You have to pray. Matter of fact, let's put that as number one. You have to pray. And I don't know what everybody, you know, all I know is me. And I know my family. And we are very much big on prayer in our relationship with God. And that's what really, really, really has been carrying me, for sure, is relying on God's strength, because I can't do it on my own. And I've tried before. I've tried to grieve and process before without God, and it just didn't work. And I'm crying because if it wasn't for God and for him putting me around such a great family, like my family, my immediate family, and my friends, the real ones that showed up, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to push through it. And I look back on it, and I look back on, you know, the events and things that, you know, happened throughout that time period. Like, it all happened so fast. There was no time for nothing. Like, I didn't care about anything else but my granddad being gone. Like, but having my family, having my real sisters, my friends, like, show up for me in a major way that made the biggest difference in my life, because it was necessary. It was necessary. And not staying in the house. You know, sometimes when you're grieving, you know, you want to stay in the house. You don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to do anything. You just want to cry. You just want to sit in the house and watch TV and, you know, lay on the couch all day. But you have to get out. You have to get out. You have to make yourself do something. Take a walk. Go to the gym. Go get ice cream. Then get back in your routine. And it's not to say to rush into that, but it's good to be around your loved ones, to be around people that you care about and people that care about you, because that's gonna keep you in good spirits. Those people that are gonna make you laugh, those people who are going to hug you tight and let you know that they love you and that they care about you. Being around those type of people, it lifts your spirits majorly. I wanted to also go through a couple of scriptures that have helped me in this season, since 2023. These few scriptures that have helped me process and that have given me peace and comfort. So the first one is Revelations chapter 21 verse 4. It says, God wipes away tears, removes death, and takes away pain. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 3 through 4. God is the source of comfort and he helps us comfort others. I'm not reading all of it, but you know, you get the point. Psalms 147 verse 3. God heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalms chapter 30 verse 5. Weeping may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning. One of my favorites, Matthew 5 verse 4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Grief is very hard. And there are gonna be moments where you're laughing and you're happy, and there are gonna be moments where you're sad, you're angry. If you're like me, you know, you question God, like, what, God, why did you take this person from me? And you know I needed this person. And then also, if you're empath like me, you hurt for your parents. You hurt for your aunts, your uncles. You hurt for them because they lost a parent. And then you think about your parents and how you would feel if something happened to them. And it's just a lot. Grief is a lot. I mean, you go through so many different stages. But just don't stay there. Don't stay in those negative places. Don't stay in those negative places. Find comfort in God. Find comfort in him, because he's going to be the only way. He's the only way to get through it. Grief it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack, and you just have to cherish the moments that you have with your loved ones. We don't get these people forever. We don't get them forever. We don't know how long we have on this earth. So cherish those moments that you have with your loved ones. Cherish those moments that you have with the people that you care about, because there's going to be a day where they're no longer here. So give them their flowers while they're here. Tell them how much you love them while they're here. Because there will come a day where they're not anymore. I pray that I am honoring my granddad the way that he would want me to. And I know that he wouldn't want me crying. He definitely wouldn't want me crying. Oh my goodness. But he would want me laughing, and he would want me remembering all the great memories. He would want me to be happy. And for me to know that he is always proud of me. He is looking down at me from heaven, and he is proud of me. So I pray that I continue to honor him and make him proud and do things that we talked about, that I said I was going to do. I pray that I am able to do those things that me and him talked about, so I can make him proud. And one of them was vlogging. Vlogging was very something that he told me to do. He told me to do that years ago. He told me I should. He told me to never stop taking pictures, and that I have model, that I look like a model, and that, I mean, when you have people that pour into you like that, you know that you are loved. Like, people that really, really pour into you and tell you that you can do it. He will definitely be missed. It's none like him. There will never be another Jesse. There will never be another him. And I'm just so blessed that God allowed me to be able to experience him as my granddad. It was an honor to have him in my life. So I don't have all the answers to grief. I mean, I pray that, you got something out of this, out of my tears. I feel so much better talking about it, and I hope that this is received in love and received in just in a positive space in regards to grief. And it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's okay to feel whatever you're feeling, but don't stay there. Don't stay there, because we still have to make these, our loved ones proud. We still have to make them proud. We still have to keep going, because our time is not done yet. So that's all I wanted to say in honor of my granddad. Yeah, so let me know if there's any way that I can pray for you all. Let me know if you're experiencing grief right now, and if you are struggling with the same things, and expecting others to show up for you in a way that they're not, or whatever the case may be. But keep going. Keep going. Keep going on that roller coaster. Just allow yourself to feel whatever you feel, but just don't stay there. Think about those positive moments, those happy moments, and because that's what they would want. They would want that. So I hope you all got something from this vlog, and I'll see you in the next one.
So I'm not gonna say much, but I thank God. Not gonna say much, but appreciate Sarah, the whole family.